Guys, welcome back to game 2. We are going into that pick and ban draft here. We are going to be seeing that Swain ban come across from Drexel, trying to pull it on over from the side of Virginia Commonwealth, as they definitely were able to focus that top lane in the last game, get a little bit of action going on for Swain. Virginia Commonwealth is going to stick with their first ban of Twitch going on over.
That Swain definitely was an oppressive force for Virginia Commonwealth. It was able to basically nullify their top laner throughout the majority of this game, or of last game rather. And so we can see their second ban coming through with the Sejuani. We'll have to check and see if they follow through. They might ban out the whole team that they played last, but you know, who knows? We'll see what happens.
To follow back on what I said earlier in the last game, or towards the end of it, Virginia Commonwealth is going to be banning out that Caitlyn to make sure that they don't have that range advantage that they had prior to, especially with their team comp. It was really hard for them to find Caitlyn out. I don't even think they did at all that game. There is going to be that Zac ban coming on over from Drexel. They don't want any of the junglers from last game being used, as well as an Orianna ban coming on over from the side of Virginia Commonwealth, as they must have seen that as quite an impressive threat as well for team fighting potential. Over on Drexel, they are going to be picking that Xayah. Virginia Commonwealth played it last game. However, with that first pick, they're able to secure it. But Virginia Commonwealth is going to counter with that Morgana pick to make sure that Drexel doesn't get that again this game. And it's going to be interesting to see a Maokai pick, possibly for their jungle. I know that he's been kind of impressive in the top lane as well. It'll be interesting to see if they try and flex it into the jungle, or if they're going to be seeing it still played in the top lane there.
I think they're definitely going to wait to see where they'll put that once we get a couple more picks coming out of the Drexel side of things, and we have the Olaf. So that's quite the interesting pick. It's been popping up in popularity, especially with the changes, or rather the addition of that new rune Conqueror, dealing that true damage once he's in combat. Can definitely do a number on all sorts of tanks once he pops that Ragnarok and just goes ham.
Indeed, and also with them picking this Trundle, definitely has the option for some flex pick potential. We don't know if Rawl the Croaker is a hidden Olaf player up in the top lane, maybe trying to pull off some of those Voyboy plays from the days of old. Trundle definitely able to be flexed into the jungle or top, possibly even support if they want to try and put some strategies played from last year in there as well. It'll be interesting to see where some of these champions end up, just with the possibility of them being like they're both kind of playing like a mind game here, with the possibility of the flex picks coming in from both teams.
You wouldn't last a day in the void.
So we have Virginia Commonwealth going again with that Anivia. They had faith in it last game. Looks like they're going to continue working with it. But we do see the Xayah being picked up again. I mean, it's no new news. It was the first pick, but going back to it. Oh no, excuse me, that's Drexel. I got my teams mixed up. My bad.
Seriously? Seriously?
Looks like Virginia Commonwealth is going to be banning out Vigar yet again to try and cancel out that scaling, but also ban out Rakan to make sure that since they haven't picked their support yet, to make sure that they don't end up getting that synergy and that boost to Drexel's bottom lane, as they already were shown to be quite an impressive force from the last game. But we are going to be seeing Drexel target out those ADC picks there with the Kaisa and the Ezreal pick, with Virginia Commonwealth hovering that Jhin here. It'll be impressive to see them lock in, actually. It'll be very impressive to see them play that Jhin Morgana bottom lane, especially with Jhin kind of rising in popularity right now. Looks like we're going to be hovering a Karma here on the side of Drexel. Timer about to go down. I believe that they are going to lock that in there. Definitely don't quite know if she's going to be played in the mid lane or, oh, nope, Karma's going to be support, and it looks like they're going to be looking at picking up a Zoe or a Zed over here in the mid lane. Just to see and possibly add a little bit more AD there, focus on overloading their team with AD. Nope, they're going to switch to actually Azir at the last second. I guess they thought that maybe they had a little bit too much AD on their team. They don't want to try and take the chance like they did last game where possibly they only have, that one AP caster on their team. Now they're going to have some extra damage coming on over from Karma, but definitely focus on that AP carry role coming on over from Azir in the mid lane. That damage is very impressive. Looks like they're actually going to be Karma in the top lane with that Trundle, like earlier said. Oh, never mind. Never mind. They're just tricking us, man. Here they go switching. We're gonna have Karma as a support with Trundle going in the top lane. I thought that they were going to be doing a little bit of a switcheroo on us, trying to use that Karma in the top lane. We have seen her there before, so that's not like too far off. And we've seen Trundle support as well, but they are definitely going to focus more on their stronger suits with that more meta pick of the Karma support as well as that Trundle on the top lane. It's definitely going to be interesting to see this Urgot Trundle matchup for one. Both of them are able to do a pretty decent amount of damage, but Trundle is going to be a really good duelist, and with his ult giving him that extra resistance, it's going to help him survive, I think, a little bit more against that Urgot. So hopefully he can sustain and keep himself above that threshold from Urgot's execute from his ultimate there.
Looking at these two teams, just giving a quick overview of the draft, I am leaning towards Virginia Commonwealth overall composition here. And so the main reason I'm saying that is I just think across the board they have a little bit stronger picks. Other than I would say the Olaf. I do believe Olaf is pretty strong right now, and he's going to be able to get where he needs to go, especially if Karma speeds him up, knowing how immobile Jhin is, how immobile Nivea is. But, I do think that Virginia Commonwealth is coming out of here with the upper hand. What about you? What are your thoughts?
I agree with you, but I believe that you're actually talking about Drexel with the Olaf pick, correct?
Yeah. Drexel has the Olaf, and VCU has the Jhin and Nivea, Urgot, and such.
Okay. So you were saying that like the Jhin, Morgana, and Nivea, Maokai, like that's going to be like a real solid team for them for Virginia Commonwealth?
Correct.
I do have to agree with you there. They do have a lot of hard CC on this side. I apologize for that confusion there with you throwing that Olaf name in there.
It's all good.
Just wanted to make sure that we had the teams straightened out. But yeah, with that Morgana Jhin, they both have a snare there. Morgana's ultimate definitely going to be very tetramount to a very good team fight for them with that AoE damage and lockdown if she's able to land some of it. And Nivea, again, like we said last game, she's able to control the battlefield, definitely get some stuns and some slows off there, along with Maokai's ultimate coming in, as well as his single target route there. It's going to be a lot of hard CC going in for the for at least 4 members of Virginia Commonwealth, as well as that potential just from the nice AoE damage coming in from Urgot, as well as being able to target some of them out, being able to shred that armor from Trundle very easily with his abilities mixed in with a Black Cleaver, which is normally a first item pick for him. If he doesn't go armor first. I think that they have a very strong matchup here, whereas I haven't seen even remotely like this combination of champions on the side of Drexel. It's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out, especially with the dominant performance shown by Drexel prior to. It's going to be nice to see that little bit of a change up there for them into this game. As we go into the loading screen here, how do you think the individual matchups are going to actually work out?
Gotta love my short-term memory. Gotta wait for this for the loading
Well,
screen to pop up. There we go. All right.
okay.
So, looking at it now, ooh, those are a lot of pretty skins. Look at those, man. I love these skins. Oh, and we're already back into the game. That was a quick loading screen.
Something I would like to point out. I'm a very big fan of the Urgot rework, almost exclusively for the rework, or I guess reimagining of his skins and his splash art, because that giant enemy crab god skin coming on over from that old troll like crab cosplay Urgot with the woman over his skin.
That was just
it was amazing. But now they have this awesome like kaiju looking giant, like actually giant enemy crab god as it's just standing in the ocean. You can see his claw coming up next to like a freight ship that just looks so small in comparison.
I was actually thinking about that earlier in the champ select. I personally was not partial to the Urgot.
Oh, we're going to be seeing Olaf cut out here with that stun. It's going to be a very easy burst down. First blood going on over to Maokai. It's definitely going to be easy for him. Let me actually just set up our scoreboard here. Take off the chat and time controls just so that we can have a look at those buys and stuff right there. I apologize for not doing it sooner. Oh, there we go. Going to be some dancing between the birds in the middle lane. But we are going to be seeing Maokai back to buy his other part of his jungle item for a little bit more sustain. And we're going to be seeing a little bit of a scrap going on in the top side. A little bit of poke coming in from Azir with that one stab on Anivia as she just taunts him there. But we are going to be seeing Urgot and Trundle just try and fight it out just a little bit in that river.
You're never not happy to get first blood, but you never really wanted on to the tank jungler first blood, because you know they've really slowed down the amount of gold you get for those early game assists. So you know that Olaf's not really going to be able to do all too much with it, but we'll see if he can use that extra game sustain to stay in jungle and make it turn into some leads in the lanes.
Yeah, I think that is going to be very nice for him. It's going to speed up his clears, so that way he's able to more so match up with that Olaf. As you can see, he did take his blue buff and he's taking Raptors right now. He's a little bit behind Olaf, but he is going to be moving on over to his red buff. Whereas Olaf is going on right over to finish up his wolves and then going immediately into the bottom side. Whereas Maokai is only focused on these 3 camps, and it looks like he may try and probably not actually going to work on towards that top lane since Urgot is pretty pushed, but we do see him pinging the mini-map here. Looks like he's going to try and focus on that Azir who's trying to go in there. He's going to flash W into root, throw his E out to get a little bit extra damage there. This is going to blow the flash out of Azir, but he's going to be able to do a little bit of Shurima shuffle on out of the way, get Anivia to tank a little bit of a tower shot without getting that kill there, so it is going to pop her passive, make it a little bit easier on him for the next 5 minutes of the laning phase.
That's something that, you know, if you're a seasoned Anivia player, you got to know that you just have no health or armor in the beginning of the game. I do believe she has the slowest movement speed in the entire game at level 1, but we have that Maokai coming in and flexing his strength that he got from that first blood, popping a lot of summoner spells from the side of Drexel, trying to stay alive, but they might be able to turn this. Olaf coming in with the Ghost, manages to pick up the kill and support, moving on to the Jhin. Don't think they're going to have enough damage to be able to take him out, but oh, he goes for the greedy auto attack and gets punished for it. He was trying to combo his auto attack into a snare, but they just had too much damage and too much burst. By the time he turned around to do the deadly flourish, it was already over for him.
Luckily enough, though, by the time that the that Virginia Commonwealth spot lane does get Trundle is going to be able to pop his W, and with that extra movement speed, get away from that top lane fight. Does look like he's still being a little bit greedy here, as we are going to be seeing Olaf try to invade, but they are trying their best to collapse on him. Going to see that W coming on over from Maokai, that snare coming on over from Morgana, and they're going to be giving that kill on over towards Jhin to give him a little bit of an easier time, focusing on matching that bottom lane here, with Saya backing and picking up a Cole and a longsword to match her Doran shield. She's going to be able to sustain really well from some of the damage coming on over from the poke from Morgana and Jhin, as well as giving her that extra bit of gold from that Cole as well. We do see Trundle immediately teleporting in and trying his best to use that Conqueror to fight fairly with Urgot. However, it looks like if Urgot's able to pin him down there, might be the end for him. It looks like Urgot is going to pop both of his refillable potions. He got a little cocky there on his back, but he forgot that he was a level behind. That's going to be an easy pickup kill for Urgot. However, we do see Olaf using his Predator to run in behind him, with Trundle trying to bait it out. And that's going to be a death on over towards Urgot, but he does still have his teleport left, whereas Trundle does not. So if he wants to, with Olaf shoving this lane back out, he can easily teleport in, or if he wants to, because he's able to, from that kill and assist that he has from the first blood earlier, he's able to pick up a Phage and a pair of boots. So, as I was talking there, he did teleport into the lane, as it's pretty shoved up. We may see him try and get a little bit of poke damage onto Trundle, probably see him walk on towards the bush and ward the river just to be a little bit safer for him. But we are going to be focusing a little bit more on the camera here with, of course, as I say that, it switches to his ear and base. But it does seem that with the bot lane down here, they are going to be trying to scrap up a little bit. Karma is trying her best to get some damage onto Morgana, doing a lot of damage actually. Morgana using her dark shield to try and walk away without being slowed, and try and mitigate some of that damage. But here it is actually with her potions taken, she's going to be almost at full health already.
Sorry, I've been having to take care of a few administrative things on the side. Looking towards the top lane, we definitely have that Urgot flexing his early game strength, being able to zone out that Trundle from a lot of damage. But the Azir is also holding his own against this Anivia. We know that he did get his flash pop really early, and so Anivia did have that little bit of advantage. But, you know, as you can see, Anivia is still keeping up, or excuse me, is still ahead in farm as we head into the 8-minute mark.
Indeed, and with Anivia having that that blue buff, that second blue buff early on from Maokai, a very generous jungler there, staying ahead in the CS category is going to be very easy for her, along with that tier, that Doran's ring, and that Sapphire Crystal. However, we're going to be seeing Olaf blow his Predator in again to try and get this gank off on Urgot. That's going to be another kill on over to Olaf on Urgot. As they shove in the wave, looks like they're going to be trying to get a decent amount of tower damage over here, while we're going to be seeing, we do have to pay attention to the difference over here. Olaf is at a very distinct CS advantage as well. He's 2 levels over Maokai, as we see Maokai walking in at level 5. Just picked up level 6 from that minion there, able to CC Trundle down, and with that ult at the last second, make sure that he stayed in for that extra tower shot to make sure that he got the kill on over towards him. And with a wave clear that or with the timing of that, the wave was cleared out by the tower, and it was very easy for Maokai, even though he was 2 levels behind both Trundle and Olaf at the time that he engaged, he was able to make sure that he did alright there. As we have that unstoppable Will, I think? I can't quite, or, God, what is it? Is it Ragnarok, right?
Yep, Ragnarok.
Ragnarok, coming on over from Olaf, he was able to pop the passive on Anivia, ignoring her stun from her Q, and just trying to pop it, say that that's call it, just move on out of the mid lane and hope that Azir can set up for another gank from Olaf once he gets towards the lane and pushes it up a little bit.
And so, looking at just the scope of the game, it's definitely starting out differently than the last game. VCU, their jungler is really starting to spread the wealth everywhere. Definitely ganking all sorts of different lanes, picked up that kill top side. But more importantly, they're trying to get their bot lane invested in the game. So their ADC is doing a little bit better this time around. Not as far down CS, still about roughly 10 CS differential. And with the Xayah sitting on the call, she's definitely going to get a little bit of a gold boost here in a minute. But we'll see what ends up happening in the late game compared to that. And so here we go with the Olaf running in with the Predator. Not much looks like it's going to be able to come from this, as that's a very, very tanky Maokai. But no, manages just enough damage to just whittle him down, chopping that tree up into firewood down in the river.
Dude, that's the only way that you can counter a tree, man, is with an axe or an ignite. And obviously they had the axe ready. Olaf, like earlier, he, not even like a minute and a half earlier, he blew his ultimate on the tower dive for Anivia just to pop her passive. However, now he is able to walk through that jungle to set up to pressure them into staying underneath the tower, and they are going to be taking out the Jhin and Morgana for free, as well as having that open up bottom tower. And it looks like Drexel is going to be focusing on getting this this first tower gold down in the bot lane.
Definitely looks like they're going to be able to secure it, get a good chunk of gold sliding into all of their pockets.
Definitely getting that nice little gold lead extended on the side of Drexel over here. Sitting at a 3k gold lead right now. Definitely helping them out, especially with their jungler going a little bit behind. But just like last game, we have a massive fight going on down here. We're going to be having Jhin and Morgana being very easily taken out by Azir, although the kill does go over to Karma. Along with them able to poke down that Maokai. In that jungle, it was just very easy for them, despite the abilities that the team had, that Virginia Commonwealth had. It was still a 3v4, and they were able to zone them off in that jungle. On the top side, they did have a little bit of scrap there in the tower dive. However, Olaf did get a little bit too greedy trying to go in on that Anivia, trying to make sure that she was focused off so they could get that second tower, but just dove a little too deep, took a little too much damage, and he was able to fall. And I believe get some shutdown gold on over to the words Virginia Commonwealth. However, it's not quite. It's kind of buffering the gold lead and gain on over towards Drexel, but now they are able to get it to a 5k gold lead here for Drexel. We do see Olaf just kind of slowly shoving in the top lane. By the time he gets to that tower, Urgot is going to be meeting him. We do see actually Anivia running through the river here, trying to zone him out, going to be popping down that ultimate, popping down that wall, trying her best to CC him down, and then we're just going to be seeing Urgot just zoom in, pick him up, suplex him behind him, and just get that nice kill on over towards him, get a little bit gold, a little bit of extra gold going on over there as Anivia, full mana, full health, walking right back down towards the mid lane with another blue buff that she got earlier from Maokai. They are going to be able to catch out this Karma, and that's going to be another kill. This time it's going to go on over towards Anivia, help give her a little bit more of a buffer zone there for Virginia Commonwealth as they 3-man walk towards this bottom tower as Trundle immediately teleports back to lane again and just immediately tries to engage in a fight that he shouldn't with Urgot, as he's whittled straight on down towards about a third health as Maokai runs up to the top lane to try and make sure that they can either zone him off or try and just put a little bit of damage on him, forcing him to blow his ultimate. He does pop it, I believe, on Maokai to get more of the tank stats there. But there's just going to be Maokai and Urgot working as a team now that his ultimate is down, even though that he's more at full health. They are going to be trying to focus on whittling down this tower. Actually, they're going to be full-on tower diving him with that aftershock. Maokai is going to be able to buffer those tank stats, make sure that he sinks a couple more tower shots, and then Urgot over here with his wonderful new ultimate, just throwing down the meat grinder and just putting him right inside that nice crab belly right there with that nice execute. Saya and Karma are going to be moving on up towards the top lane to try and make up where Trundle died trying to wave clear and push that wave though.
So it was a little bit of a miscalculation by the Trundle. As you were saying, yeah, he teleported right into top side, wanted to get right at it, smacking that Urgot, but he's very much behind in every category. Behind in the CS and in the kill, so he just doesn't have the damage or the sustain he needs to be able to be picking a fight like that.
Indeed, and if you even just look at their items, I mean, all that you have on over towards Trundle in terms of armor is going to be that Ninja Tabi, however, or Ninja Tabi, however you want to say it. There is going to be that black cleaver on over towards the side of Urgot, so he's going to be able to trim down his armor, make it very easy for him to do some more damage, but he also has some Ninja Tabi, so with Trundle going for that first Tiamat and then focusing on the black cleaver next, he doesn't have that black cleaver to shred through, and both of them are very like auto attack heavy. So not being able to shred through that extra bit of armor, it definitely very easily gives that advantage on over towards Urgot, especially with that extra 20% cooldown reduction that Urgot has that Trundle doesn't.
So we're just seem to be picking up whatever loose camps are around, cleaning out the jungle, making sure waves are being pushed in our favor, or the team's favor. But it seems like Drexel definitely has the upper hand now. They got the 3 turrets down. They're mapped. They got a lot more real estate to work with. They can move in, as you can see. Virginia Commonwealth trying to clean out the wards that Drexel has, placed in their jungle. Blue buff just spawns, but it seems like they've got other plans. They're trying to focus down on that Rift Herald, see if they can get to it in time.
And while we were drifting around, it seems like the reason why they had to take out so many wards in their jungle was because Drexel, on top of taking this Rift Herald just now, as we saw, they actually were able to take that Mountain Drake at some point without us seeing. Maokai going to be popping his ultimate, trying to push them up off of this tower. Anivia going to be tanking some tower shots here, trying to catch out that Saya. However, they are just going to turn their focus towards the tower, make sure that that goes down as Olaf and Karma show their face to try and back them off and try and keep them from pushing farther. As we are going to see, we do have to pay attention here. Azir is on over towards that top side. He feels like he can fight Urgot decently well with his escapes and everything. However, they're not paying attention here. On the side of Drexel, we do have Trundle doing an amazing job of split pushing. They aren't noticing that while we have Azir in the top lane fighting Urgot, and we have Olaf going just completely crazy here in the mid lane. They have Rift taking down that tower. We're going to be seeing Anivia pop her ult her passive right there. We have Jhin with his ultimate, but that's all just to buy some time for Morgana and Maokai, after they got kind of chunked down, to actually finally move on over towards the bottom side. Looks like Trundle's going to be chunking down Morgana very easily, while he also gets that inhibitor tower on the top side, them taking a long time to take him down. They were trying to give that kill on over towards Jin, but it's going to go on over towards minions and over to Maokai. We do see Azir is going to be wandering on down towards mid lane with Urgot, as they're just trying to focus on keeping that. Both sides are trying to make sure that the minions don't push too far, as they were able to get the T1 mid tower down pretty low on over to the side of Virginia Commonwealth. It's real low, so they're trying to make sure that that doesn't go, so they can keep that last T1 bastion tower there. Just to make sure that they have a little bit of room there in terms of vision and in terms of minion wave control. While we have Azir sitting there with only about 300 HP, trying to make sure that that wave doesn't push too far into him.
So that that Trundle right there just kind of gives a clue of the strategy that they are going to try and pull. They realized that he was really far, really far behind the beginning of the game. Once the team fights come, he's not going to have all that damage that they necessarily need for him to bring. And so he's speccing his build out to be pushing these waves and to be just being a nuisance split pushing. And so we'll see how far that can get them. Clearly got them that bot tower, and so we'll see if they can get any bit more with it.
And just to switch a little bit of focus, I know that we've been talking about the junglers and the top lane, and to a lesser extent the mid lane a lot recently because of all the fights going on, especially with Azir trying to go in here. Looks like he's going to be knocking Anivia, and he's actually going to be getting that kill on Anivia, while Jin is able to get away with about 200 HP, while Morgana and Maokai do try and do a little bit there. While Trundle's trying to split push, he does end up ulting Urgot and meeting him down in the bot lane. They are fighting it out, definitely trying to see who's going to win there, but Urgot is going to lock onto his ult with Trundle, with him being a little bit too late on the flash, and he's just going to wheel him on in and execute him right there.
That fight bot lane was kind of goofy. Trundle's feeling all high and mighty after taking that turret. He's like, I can take you, and Urgot was a little scared for a little bit, and once he just realized, wait a minute, I'm still really much far ahead of this guy. He turns around, smacks him upside the head, and puts him in his belly.
Indeed. If it wasn't for the true damage execute coming on over from Urgot, though, it was definitely a pretty even fight. Even though Urgot is 4-2-1 and Trundle is 0-6-2, he does have more sustain now that he's actually completed his Ravenous Hydra. On top of his W and with his ult giving him more resistance stats, he was actually doing really well against that Urgot at first. We are going to be seeing Olaf actually catch Jin out here very easily with Xayah and Karma trying to focus on this Anivia. Anivia is going to get this down on over towards Karma. It's going to be walling and popping her ult down on Karma, popping that Q and E again on her, so he's going to be able to just obliterate Karma. I keep saying Karma. Is able to get those 2 kills, but that wall's going to save him from that Olaf, even though Olaf's axe is going to be enough damage to kill Morgana. We are going to be seeing that immediate teleport and ult coming on down from Urgot here to get that kill onto his here. Olaf's going to be sitting here trying his best to run towards Anivia. However, they are trying to ping Baron here, where they're just letting Trundle have his way in their base, take out that inhibitor, and then just focus immediately on ulting and running down this Jin. He sees Morgana come up, so he is trying to focus away from getting into this 2v1 under tower, as they are going to knock him down, and looks like they're going to focus on Baron, with Anivia actually popping her passive from that Baron fight and an extra auto attack from Karma. Doesn't look like anything too bad is going to come from it, and Karma did try and get that ignite down, and it almost did enough damage there onto Maokai. However, I believe maybe he has precision secondary, because he did get a lot of health and mana from actually getting that assist on over towards Karma.
as
that
we
saved him.
predicted with that Trundle build, he's just been in that side lane, just pushing it the whole time, and it's actually, it's clearly been paying off for Drexel there. He's last time we checked, he was what, level 13, and he was 2 levels up on the AD carry he was fighting, and 3 levels up on the support, and so he's starting to become a little bit more of a nuisance than he was in the early game, and now they're going to have to be worrying about super minions coming in the bot side while they can start transitioning over to Baron, start setting up for position there.
Indeed, Drexel's been doing a really good job of utilizing their top laner and their dragons. I mean, the Drexels, it is their Drexel dragons. It is kind of humorous, but it's definitely their thing, man. Here they are coming and making sure that they live up to their name, that they take every single dragon they see in both game 1 and 2, making sure that they get everything they can, focusing a lot on objectives on the map. Since Virginia did have to back off of this Baron because of Karma, it looks like they're going to be trying to focus it down right now. It looks like they have a 2-level advantage. Olaf is 2 levels over Maokai, so they were trying to get it down, thinking that if they did try and flash in to try and get that smite, that Olaf would be able to get it over Maokai. However, they are going to be knocking them down pretty well here. Almost everyone on the side of... Oh, we're going to be having a little bit of a fight here. Urgot is going to catch out the ADC, but she's going to try and ult away, but it's not quite enough. And Nivea is going to follow up and get a kill on both of the bot laners here over on Drexel. But we're going to be seeing Olaf uses Ragnarok here, trying his best to try and go for Anivia. However, with that wall blocking him off, he is going to just try and turn around, do a little bit more damage on Morgana and onto Maokai, finally killing Maokai. However, Anivia is going to respond with killing Olaf and
Azir.
Yes.
Man, that was a pretty intense fight. VCU looked like they were going to be out of luck for that one, but they managed to turn it around with the Urgot catching out that Xayah, getting a ton of damage off onto her. He did miss his ultimate, which definitely lowered the potential for their fight, but having that Anivia pull down and just dealing so much damage to the front and the back line at the same time, Virginia Commonwealth is still by far still in this game, even down 6 turrets and 2 dragons.
Indeed, and I mean, as long as they get their team fights going well, the only thing that they have to watch out for, though, is that during that team fight, it was basically a 5v4, and in that instance, Trundle was actually able to, from Drexel, Trundle was able to move their way up and get a Nexus tower, and on his way back down, steal that red buff from them, so it's going to be easier for him if he split pushes to get that extra burn damage to help take down towers faster and, to a lesser extent, minions. But it's definitely going to help him with that split pushing capability, as well as Xayah picking up a red buff in case they get into any team fights here soon. It's going to be some more AoE damage and just a lot of single target damage coming on over from the ADC on Drexel, along with the blue buff going on over towards Azir to make sure that he has more cooldown reduction that he actually hasn't built other than an Asher's Tooth. And they're able just to completely melt this Baron down, especially with that Mountain Drake. Going to be seeing that ult come in from Maokai, and he's going to go in by himself to no avail. He's going to be taken down by Azir. With a little bit more gold going on over towards him. There's going to be Trundle utilizing his teleport to go immediately towards the top lane. He's going to be ulting Urgot and just completely taking him to Pound Town there. Definitely knocking him down a peg or two, getting him utilized and killed right before that ult damage goes off with that extra tick damage from that red buff that he took earlier. He was actually able to kill Urgot while he was being drug in for that execute, so he was actually able to cancel that and give him a chance to fight against Jhin. However, it wasn't enough. Jin's damage was too great, and he was able to take down Trundle, and now Jhin is going to be sitting on that new red buff form.
And so I think this Jhin is now finally going to be able to start joining these team fights. He's got 2 full items under his belt, and while it's usually not, the biggest power spike for him, he is going to be dealing out a ton of damage with these crits that he's going to be pulling.
Something that I tried to do earlier, unfortunately this game is a little too action-packed. As you can see, there is an 8k gold lead on over to the side of Drexel. However, Virginia Commonwealth is actually at an 6 kill advantage here. Virginia Commonwealth sitting at 22 kills compared to Drexel's 16, because they're definitely abiding by that feed to win strategy on over from Trundle. He just keeps getting stronger the later that the game goes on, but he's just focusing, even whenever he's been fought while he's taking a tower or while he's taking an inhibitor, he just focuses on making sure he gets that inhibitor tower first and then trying to fight if he can. But to go on over towards the bot lane, Xayah's been able to consistently keep up a 30 to 40 CS advantage, even though she's only 1, 2, and 8. She has an Infinity Edge, an Essence Reaver, and a Static Shiv, along with her completing that coal to definitely give her that extra, that extra 400 gold advantage there, along with her picking up another Zeal, probably going for possibly a Runons for some extra AoE. I wouldn't be surprised to see that rapid fire cannon come out again, but it is going to be nice to see the difference in the ADC's builds compared to Virginia Commonwealth's ADC Eckert. They did build a slightly different path. I think they took Essence Reaver into rapid fire cannon if they were even able to finish their Zeal item in game 1. However, we are seeing it go late enough to where Drexel is able to get that IE, that Essence Reaver, that Static Shiv, those boots there completed, the Berserker Greaves, as well as possibly trying to go for, like I said, a rapid fire cannon or something else here. They were able to see Trundle kind of going out. They caught him out with Anivia sitting in that bush, and they were able to pop him with the combined efforts of Anivia and Jhin. However, we're going to be seeing Urgot and Maokai go in on the bottom lane here. They are going to be able to catch out that Xayah and knock her down. We're going to be seeing an ultimate come out from Jhin while they are able to focus down that Urgot, while we didn't see Olaf was actually able to come in from the back to try and zone them off here.
Man,
definitely getting a lot of damage down on this Morgana, giving that kill on over towards his ear. But Olaf's just, he hasn't had enough. He's still trying to run in, try and make sure that he can try and get those axes out, try and slow them down. Even Karma trying to speed up her whole team, but instead they're just going to have to settle for wave clearing, helping that push. Looks like while they have that 3-2 advantage, waiting for Maokai to come up, they are going to try and use Olaf to try and tank some damage, try and bait them into a fight here. Olaf Azir waiting for his Q there to try and get some more damage onto that Anivia there, while we are going to be seeing Azir pop his ultimate after Maokai spawns and throws out his W to try and snare him there.
And so, as we were talking about in Champ Select, that boosted Olaf with the Karma, he's just going to be running like a fiend. Slap on Predator onto that, and he chopped up that Morgana in 4 or 5 hits. It wasn't that much. And she even has a little bit of armor coming from that Zanya's, but as soon as that Olaf gets onto that Anivia, that's when the game will be over. Once they can properly catch out that Anivia, because she's huge right now. She's dealing so much damage. That Anivia's carrying a ton of the weight for VCU here. That's going to be the key to taking down this team.
Indeed, and you definitely can't leave out the Olaf damage. I mean, despite everything, like, he does have Titanic Hydra, so he's going to be able to wave clear pretty well. He does have that Black Cleaver coming across. Obviously, he's focusing a little bit more on magic resist, focusing on that Maokai, that Morgana, and Anivia damage. He has those Merc Treads to help with his tenacity. I wouldn't be surprised if he has some tenacity runes as well, but he does have that adaptive helm there to try and make sure that all of their damage is reduced. He's going to be popping his Dragon Rock as the team fight breaks out right here. He's going to be focusing away 3 members of the team, where Maokai does try and go in on the ADC. Xayah is able to kill Maokai, even though Jin stays way far away from the fight, popping his ultimate. Xayah is going to be flashing to go in on him, finishing him off, while Anivia and Morgana do lock down and take out Karma and Azir. Azir is going to get, with that bit of burn damage from that red buff that he was able to steal away earlier, he is able to get that last tick of damage on over towards Morgana, take her down. So now all that's left standing in the way of Trundle and Xayah, the 2 best damage dealers to structures for the team of Drexel, is Anivia. However, she is going to have that blue and red buff, so the blue buff in particular is going to help her sustain that mana on top of her Rod of Ages and her Seraph's Embrace, so it's not like it really matters too much, but it's definitely going to make sure that no matter what, she is able to just spam her abilities as much as possible to focus on wave clearing those minions off of her Nexus towers there. But Trundle on the way out, Maokai's not able to fight him while he's waiting for his teammates to come up, and Trundle's gonna just take out as many waves as he can there. We do have Urgot coming on in. Trundle was backing, didn't even notice that there was a ward there as they ping him, and they are going to be trying to collapse on him. We see Maokai, Urgot, and Morgana trying their best to get on over towards him. However, the control ward that he had in the bush over there was going to show him where Morgana was so that he could pop up his pillar to slow her down.
They can easily burst down this Baron with that Azir and the Olaf. They have so much damage. That's you know, consistent. It's not burst, but they can easily take this thing out. And where they have the Trundle coming in from the top side to do a little bit of zoning potential, but is that a little bit of a spectator bug, I hope? That looked like the Maokai ultimate stayed put for a little too long, but you know, they're back onto the Baron now, trying to take it out before VCU can respond.
Unfortunately, for the side of Virginia Commonwealth, they didn't notice until it was too late that Trundle was pushing, and then the second that they turned away from him, we see the rest of the team, you know, Xayah, Olaf, Karma, take that Baron. Unfortunately, they were able to CC Trundle very heavily so that they were able to burst him down from the damage coming over from Anivia so that they could get that, dear lord. I don't know what I just saw. Azir's damage is just unbelievable. He was able to execute Jin with his ultimate, and they're able to just take down Urgot and Anivia there at the end, and they're just going to be able to take that tower while having that Baron empowered minions there and just take that Nexus for that extra 50 gold going on over towards Xayah for that last hit. What are your comments on the game? What did you notice? Did you notice a specific turning point or anything at all?
I think that the Drexel's plan of sticking with the split push, and I forget exactly what you called it. It was like winning by feeding or winning by losing. But you know, continuing to push those side lanes, and I mean, just look at the end screen. Trundle was involved in 3 kills. There was 28 for his team, and he was involved in 3 of them. But sure enough, he was able to open up those gates, both top lane and bottom lane, allowing those minions to be pushing in nonstop, and it really made it challenging for Virginia Commonwealth to leave their base so that they could actually get any vision on the map.
Indeed, man. What someone that did a really good job, speaking of vision, is actually Karma. She was able to get a lot of vision for her team, as well as Olaf getting a pretty decent amount, throwing down some wards and stuff. But something Drexel is able to do really well is that I don't think, other than maybe the top laner, just from him not needing it as much, but the jungler, mid laners, and the bottom lane are very good about utilizing control wards throughout the game, especially from the early to mid game, just to make sure that they have vision on a lot of these objectives here.
Absolutely.
Alright, just as this game is wrapped up, you see Drexel was able to win Game 2. We are going to go into a brief intermission while we set up Game 3, and we hope to see you there.